everyone, welcome to Morning Laziness. This is Nilima Kayes, and today we are bringing to you an interview session with Ms. Kimberly. Morning Laziness is an online magazine dedicated to women. It showcases various articles, personal life stories, and interview sessions on different matters concerning women. And today our interviewee, Ms. Kimberly, happens to be the founder of Ring Communications. So let us welcome our interviewee. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. It's a wonderful day today.
Right. So it's a pleasure to have you on board with us at Morning Laziness. So how do you normally kickstart your day?
So I actually am a very early riser. I get up somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning every morning. And usually the first thing I do is try to get an hour or so of work out of the way so that I can then work out, meditate, whatever, at least with a clearer mind. So the first thing I usually do is I wake up, I check my emails, I check the headlines to see what's happening in the world, and I try to figure out what on my to-do list I can get out of the way easily at that hour of the day without annoying people.
Well, that sounds great. And I think as an aspiring journalist, even I make it a note to check up the headlines every morning as soon as I get up and sit before my laptop. So it's a good habit anyways. Right. So what made you smile today?
So, in addition to owning my own firm, I'm also a professor at a university here in Boston called Suffolk University. And we are in the process of testing a student. So I have students who are together to help. Smile today was just the sheer creativity, excitement, and overall, amazingness of those students. So that made me smile today.
Interesting. So where are you actually from?
So I was born and raised here in Boston, Massachusetts. 11 miles north of the actual city is where I live. I've lived in other places as well, only in the United States though. So I lived in New Jersey at one point, I lived in Florida, but now I'm back where I grew up here in Boston.
Interesting. So what is a goal you have set to achieve by the end of this day?
I gotta be honest, I've already hit it. Every day I wake up and I make a list of everything that I have to do. And my whole goal is to get it done within 12 hours of waking up. And here we are just shy of 12 hours since waking up and it's all done. So I'm good after that.
Oh, glad to hear that. And it's true. I think making the to-do list at the very beginning itself makes things much better and easier throughout the day. You get to be more organized throughout the day, I believe, with the help of to-do list.
Exactly. And for me, starting that early means if I need those extra hours of the day, great. But if I don't, I kind of get those back to myself to do whatever, sit and enjoy a meal or read or do something like that. So.
Right. Now let us move to some questions about Ring Communications. Well, so how did you actually come about establishing Ring Communications?
Yeah, so I started my own marketing firm. It's 15 years this August coming up. And I started it because I was always wanted to get into the field and I had a really hard time because trying to get a job, everybody kept telling me because I'd never worked in an agency, I didn't have enough agency experience. So I kept finding myself in this predicament where it was like, no, you can't work here because you don't have any agency experience. So how do I get agency experience if I don't work in an agency? It seemed like nobody trusted just my instinct on what I knew I was able to do, what I knew my strengths were. And so, I finally just said, I'm going to do it myself and just do it differently and build something different for people and give more opportunities and change what the whole kind of like small agency life is like. So really what made me was, just sheer determination to prove everybody wrong.
Well, that sounds great. Now, what are the services you rented through this platform?
So my company can do anything from PR to social media to cause marketing or event marketing. We're a full service integrated marketing firm. So that means we have the ability to do a number of different types of marketing or all of them. And we customize what we're doing, what kind of projects we're doing, what kind of campaigns we're doing based on what our clients' needs are. We serve clients in the lifestyle industry, which underneath that, we usually say we focus on sports, entertainment, consumer goods, hospitality, travel, and nonprofit. And, every client engagement is different. Sometimes we do everything. We do PR, social, direct, cause marketing all at once, or sometimes we work on a project by project basis.
That sounds great. Now, talking about marketing, how do you think metaverse could renovate marketing strategies nowadays?
Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening is that a lot of marketers are going to have to start thinking about virtual reality as a whole other marketing environment. When social media kind of took off, a lot of us marketers had to look at that and say, how do we get injected into the online conversations that are happening? With Meta, it's going to be a whole other universe. So it's going to be thinking about what are the marketing strategies we use here in the physical space, and how can they and which can translate into this virtual world. So it's going to take a lot of the core disciplines of marketing are still going to be there, but we're going to have to think about the delivery of those strategies very different.
Well, you seem to be very excited with the metaverse implementation. So, do you think implementing metaverse in digital marketing could perhaps expand its outreach, and how so? Would you like to comment on the same?
I do. I think it's going to, because I think very quickly we are going to be able to adopt Meta into our lives. A lot of households already have at least one Oculus, which has opened up kind of the Meta, or at least given a lot of people a taste, and people are consumers. So I think a lot of when online gaming started to rise and social started to rise, I think a lot of those kinds of strategies are going to have to work here in the Meta. I think it's going to translate into a lot of advergaming, until people start using that kind of virtual aspect for more than entertainment, which I think slowly that's happening, but the entertainment aspect right now seems to be what everybody has grasped. I think there's going to have to be some kind of creative gaming entertainment aspect to it.
Interesting. And again, with the current situation of the pandemic, I think Metaverse had been using it to expand its outreach. People have been more accessible with the other online platforms with the help of Metaverse. So, what do you think will be the future of the marketing industry with Metaverse in the coming years?
I think it's going to add a whole other channel for us to deal with. Marketers have been faced with this over and over and over again. We are driven by what consumers are doing. Where consumers are spending their time, where consumers are spending their attention, where consumers just are, is where we need to look at how can our brands be in that space without being intrusive, because we're also living in an age of empowered consumerism. Today, consumers don't want to be marketed to. They don't want to be advertised to. So there's going to be a rejection if it's done in a way where we're disrupting their experience in the Meta. So it's going to take a lot of marketers to say, okay, in addition to our traditional channels, our advertising, our digital, our PR, our social, our direct, what is this new kind of virtual world of marketing look like? Where can we show up and enhance the experience versus disrupt it? Because I think, especially in early technology and early marketing channels like this, we need to be able to easily show up as marketers in there, and again, without disrupting, because the minute we disrupt an experience for a consumer, they're going to stop using it. So just like all of a sudden we all jumped to social media and we started flooding the social media channels with our marketing messages, it disrupted the user experience. So consumers started pulling back on certain social media sites and certain social media usage. So I think it's going to take a lot of learning on behalf of us marketers. It's going to take a lot of research, and it's going to take a lot of finesse, because we really are going to have to figure out how to start working our marketing message into this new channel, this virtual world, without, annoying the consumer and in disrupting their whole experience that they are immersed in.
That sounds really cool. Now, as a female entrepreneur, did you find it challenging to build your platform in this industry? And how did you overcome them?
To be honest, I didn't. I really never thought about having a disadvantage as a female entrepreneur. I just tackled it as I would have tackled anything. Strategically, with hard work and with a plan. I didn't face any challenges or that I'm aware of, or any that stopped me because I am a woman. And to be honest, I've had a lot of great, really powerful mentors along the way that were both men and women. So I really didn't face many other than dealing with like the personal aspects of life, balancing, the potential of family and all of that with building a business. But challenges wise, I just tackled it like anybody else would tackle it.
That sounds great. Now, where do you see Ring Communications in the next 5 years as a founder?
I've never had these massive visions of being a huge firm. I've always wanted to be a very small, family-like agency. And I don't think my vision for that is going to change. In terms of our services and offerings, we definitely are looking towards the metaverse, and we're looking at diving into these new kind of worlds and consumer behaviors. And that's really what we're looking at, is what offerings do we do well now, and what's coming down the line that we need to get ahead of, because that's always been our strategy as a small agency. We're always trying to stay ahead of the trend. So we're already thinking about, like you said, those marketing tactics, those marketing roles in the metaverse. What is the next phase? And then for me personally, I'm splitting my time right now between teaching and running my business. And I see my business helping to fuel higher ed in some way. I see that my experience and my career as a business owner and working in an agency can only help these upcoming students build, grow, become part of the ecosystem of marketing.
Well, you really sound like a good leader. Now, lastly, what do you think this world needs the most?
I think it just needs nicer people. I think when there are times of crisis, our kindness and our hearts tend to lead. And then when everything kind of balances out, I think we all pull back a little bit. And I think if we all led our lives with that kind of appreciation for one another, that kindness, that empathy, that overall just welcoming nature, I think that start can lead to successes in community, in career, in business, in the economy, in government, in all of those things. It really just starts with all of us just being nice to one another.
Well, that was really heart-touching. So on that note, we come to the end of this interview session. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time talking to you. We truly appreciate your time and patience. And thank you, audience, for watching the entire session today.